Okay, so it seems like it's been a little bit of an update with the whole Nijisanji stuff that's been going on behind the scenes. Now, if you don't know, obviously I covered this over on my vacation, essentially talking about a Google Doc which came out from BariLoaf, or at least some stuff that came out from BariLoaf at the start, which is a video where she was essentially saying a former corporate VTuber doxed me, and they were referring to MarieFD, who used to be Reimu over at Nijisanji, right? And this is a very, very wild claim. You know, to claim anybody is doxing you is a very, you know, obviously important thing that people need to listen to. And if you're going to say that, you better have some good evidence that they have done that, else, you know, you're going to get dogpiled on. And well, it seems like they didn't have too much evidence at the start in terms of them actually particularly doing it. And even with the responses that have come out, nothing has really come too much in regards to this. Now, obviously, yeah, MarieFD actually responded with a big response, which we covered in my previous video, and BariLoaf actually came out with a final response with some more stuff behind it. Now, obviously, what a lot of it came to, what a lot of people were talking about, was essentially the fact that, you know, there was this one 4chan user that was going around spreading the information about BariLoaf and stuff like that, right? And they believe it was her. Now, there is no proof that it was her. There was no kind of evidence, at least from what I've seen, that it was her. And it was just a 4chan user who they think it is, which obviously isn't enough evidence to go ahead and go, yep, that was 100% them. And obviously, as I said, you kind of need a bit more evidence to be throwing stuff like that out there. Now, it was filled with a lot more other stuff, which I kind of wanted to talk through a little bit more today, because if you don't know, in a very short amount of time, this got taken down. It's still taken down to this day, this Google Doc in the final response from BariLoaf, because it reveals a lot more behind the scenes over at Nijisanji as well that has been going on, including obviously Ike. Now, if you don't know, Ike left a couple of months ago. We covered that over on this channel. It's like months and months ago. I covered it. It's one of the first videos I think I covered in terms of VTuber stuff. Now, essentially, yeah, he did leave, and, you know, he has been brought up in conversation again in regards to doxing and bullying. Now, this video from Rainbow Retirees here, definitely recommend you go follow them and give them a subscribe. I'll leave it in the link in the description below. But essentially, they do have some of the screenshots that was actually included in BariLoaf's document. Now, they tell you to go and look at their document, but again, obviously, you can't. It is taken down, so it's good that they have actually recorded some of the screenshots here from some of it, because, as I said, it just shows you more of what is going on behind the scenes at Nijisanji and how terrible it is to be a part of this company. We already know with stuff like the Dokibird situation, Aster Arcadia, everything like that, about how poorly run Nijisanji is as a company, but this just exposes even more how bad it is in regards to Ike and everything like that. Now, this video obviously starts off talking about the relationships. It's so confusing, right? There's so much to go through, but this part was particularly interesting, where they essentially go into the screenshots itself, which we will be taking a look at. So let's get into it, and then we'll talk about it.
This is where Barry starts providing screenshots from Ike's Discord from when he was in Niji. Important to note that these...
Yeah, and obviously they say this is all taken, I don't know if he's about to say it, but essentially this is all taken from Ike and with kind of permission from Ike.
Screenshots were released by Bari with consent from Ike.
Oh,
this screenshot is where Ike is asking his manager to swap the members he is paired with, as they are his bullies. The manager asked some of those members, and they agree to swap to accommodate this. Ike asks in the end to never be associated with him, as they doxed him. In another...
Now, obviously, I don't exactly know which members are talking about here. They've been color-coded for certain people, so you can kind of have an idea. Obviously, many people are speculating behind exactly who these people are. But again, obviously, it seems like there's been some bullying going on behind the scenes over at Nijisanji as well. So again, that is also another thing to kind of add on to the big list of problems that has been going on behind the scenes at Nijisanji, right? Now, obviously, some people have been coming up in like kind of Reddit threads and stuff like that, essentially decoding exactly what the colors are. Now, they're saying purple is Enna. So again, I'm unsure if it's the same kind of color coding in this screenshot, because they do move on to the screenshot later, right? They're saying purple is Enna in this one, but this also does have a yellow outline, so it might be someone else. But essentially, there has been someone at Nijisanji who was bullying Ike, and obviously that's why he asked to switch groups or switch kind of people so that you can have a more comfortable time. Now, it seems like that went fine, but again, surely rather than just being like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll correct the groups, you should be like, okay, wait, hold up, what is actually going on behind the scenes here? Can we fix this in any way so it doesn't happen to more people? They didn't do that. They just switched them. which obviously I think probably could have been, addressed a little bit further, because again, if one person is bullying another, who else are they bullying and who else isn't talking up about it? That is something that a company needs to investigate, which it seems like Nijisanji have not done.
Ike asks in the end to never be associated with him as they doxed him.
Yeah, and they also say, that person also doxed them. Now, again, we don't exactly fully know. Some people have been kind of putting in the comments who they think it is and what the color coding is, right? And I think that, it is terrible. They've been bullying him, doxing him, and, I'm not very surprised that he obviously left after all of the awful stuff that has happened to him over in Nijisanji. Now they move on to the kind of conversation with Millie Parfait as well, with him being left out of a lot of groups and things, which many people have not been happy about too.
Another screenshot, Ike confronts Millie about excluding him from events and group chats, to which Millie fires back, calling the manner in which he talks as passive-aggressive and claiming he wasn't being intentionally excluded or isolated, but because the hangout was last minute or impulsive. Ike says the reason for him not being invited kept changing from reasons such as, if Ike comes, he will bring Vox, a reason which Millie initially responded to Ike in person, saying she wasn't aware who said that. However, it turns out she did know, as seen in this conversation and pointed out by Ike. He also points out at the end that this isn't the first time they have excluded someone, pointing out former member Nina was also excluded and was gaslit into thinking it was all in her head.
So yeah, obviously there's been a problem with certain members also leaving out other members, including obviously Nina there and, Ike also being left out. But obviously some of the reasons they were giving were saying, if Vox comes, he's going to, if Ike comes, he's going to bring Vox. Again, it's very, very interesting, and it kind of gives us a little look into, the conversations between some of the talent there, which I do think is obviously a very important conversation to have. You can't expect everybody to get on in such a big kind of group like that, but I don't think they should be actively leaving people out and trying to be kind of rude and mean to people just because they dislike them. Again, I do think, obviously, if you're in a company, sometimes you have to get along with people that you don't like. It's you think at work, right? You go to your normal job and you got coworkers that you dislike, but you're not going to go there and exclude them from everything and be horrible to them. You're just going to kind of just ignore them or whatever. Like, it's not that big of a deal, or you're going to ignore their actions because, you have to work with these people, and that's it. That's the end of the day. But it seems like obviously it's much easier to get away with in a kind of agency like this. And yeah, they've been excluding a lot of people, including gaslighting people like Nina into thinking that it was all in their head. That's also the most horrible part, because there's one thing being like, oh yeah, we're 100% excluding you because we don't like you doing this, this, and that. Fine, if you want to tell them straight up, then do that. I mean, sure, like if you really, really want to. But then also saying, hey, we're not excluding you, we're definitely not, and meanwhile you are doing that at the same time, telling them that it's all in their head, then that person is probably going to feel a little bit crazy, and that can also have some issues, right?
The whole conversation is here for you to read. The Google Doc is a lot more than this and focuses
obviously the conversation is now not there to read. We cannot see it.
On the alleged doxing and relationship drama between Bari, Marie, and Ike. All links are in the description. According to Bari, she also received a cease and desist letter asking her to cease all false, misleading, or defamatory statements concerning.
So yeah, also this came out as well, which we talked about in the previous video, where essentially Marie actually sent a cease and desist to Bari after the first video that she put out saying that she doxed her. Now, obviously that is I think that's more to do with a lot of the doxing stuff and not so much to do with the other stuff with like Ike and the bullying and everything behind the scenes, because I think there is kind of two parts to this document in terms of the MarieFD situation, which I do think BariLoaf, I mean, it just doesn't have the strongest of arguments. Sure, you could say that there was some stuff there which could potentially lead you to think that maybe she was trying to, take a kind of partner and things. Again, there was some kind of things there, but at the end of the day, blaming like some random 4chan users actions on someone without any proof, it just isn't really exactly the most sensible thing to do, right? And I think that's why she hasn't gained a lot of support. It's got 2.8 million views now and only 1.4 thousand likes. Again, many people were saying, Bari, I know this is a really tough situation, I hope you can heal from it, that it's never right to be harassed or threatened in any circumstance. And yeah, 100%, like, the thing that, like, I get, like, a lot of people are saying is, the stuff that this 4chan user is doing is terrible. She's being harassed, she's doxing her, all of that kind of stuff. Whoever they are, it is terrible. But at the same time, you can't just go around saying it's 100% this person when you've got no proof. Sure, yes, the 4chan user is terrible, and if it is Murray, then that's terrible. But And we don't know. Like, it could just be some random dude, right? Or some random girl. It could be another kind of member or someone that, you know, she's worked with in the past, right? And people saying, yeah, so sorry you had to go through that. It was a bit hasty to accuse someone of doxing with no definitive proof of them using your name or alias before. I hope you can take some time to heal from this. Is it, how did you rate TOS and Google Docs? I've seen shooter manifestos, which, yeah, is true. And obviously, I think a lot of people are kind of speculating that maybe it could be something to do with like the Niji sisters. Could have like kind of mass reported it due to a lot of this kind of stuff being revealed. They don't like it whenever Nijisanji drama and things gets revealed. The kind of misdeeds of Nijisanji behind the scenes, you know, kind of happens. So that could have been mass reported. It could have been mass reported from a different group, either like maybe even the MarieFD kind of fans, right? And I'm not saying that she supports the fans doing this, by the way. Some people just do it out of their own volition, and that is not great, because again, it would have been nice to go through this in full detail, but it seems like we've only got the screenshots that some people are putting up on here, on Reddit and everything like that, which I do obviously, you know, thank everybody for doing that, because it is important to at least read what is going on, because, as I said, it's split into two parts. It's the kind of, you know, thinking that MarieFD is doing all of this stuff, like, sure, whatever, but then also into the true nature of Nijisanji and what is going on behind the scenes there. And I do think that is also a very important point to talk about, because yeah, although some people might not agree with the first part, some people might agree more with the stuff that happened to Ike and things like that, which I think obviously does add some extra context to the behind the scenes of Nijisanji in general, right? And I would really like to see some more stuff come out about this, and whether Ike could come out on like an alt account and maybe talk about this, because obviously there's a lot of screenshots, and he does seem to still be active behind the scenes, given that he's given these screenshots over and actually given them kind of permission to upload them. So again, I do find that pretty interesting too, but it seems like more and more Nijisanji is crumbling in terms of their talent and in terms of a lot of the stuff that has been going on and it getting exposed. Obviously, it started with, you know, a ton of stuff, obviously with the Salel stuff, and then we got like the Aster Arcadia stuff of him being separated, and we all know, you know, he got kicked because of all of the terrible stuff that he did. And now obviously we're moving on to the whole Ike stuff, and the total slightly about Vox. Again, it's getting pretty crazy at this point, to the point where it is getting pretty hard to understand. So I hope that this video and obviously looking at these screenshots have helped kind of understand the situation a little bit better, exactly what is going on behind the scenes, because I know it is pretty hard whenever there's so many like Reddit posts kind of talking about it and discussing it, and you know, it's just all kind of over the place. And as I said, I made more videos on this in the start, and what I think about the Marie kind of response, what I think about BariLoaf's response, all of that, it's already up on my account right now, so you guys can go back and look at that, and we go through that as well to talk about it a little bit. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to Game Subs, use my code Kazo, get 10% off again. They've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. Also, again, sorry that I sound a little bit weird. I am sick at the moment. I just came back from holiday, as you guys could probably tell by the improvement of quality of the videos. Obviously, we are now back doing the usual videos. We've got so many more planned, bro. So much stuff has happened while I've been gone that I need to kind of cover, and so much stuff has happened literally in the couple of hours that I've been back. So again, we'll cover all of it, and I'll be here to provide you all of the news that has been going on. But yeah, as I said, if you guys did enjoy it, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. Yeah.